Now that was a day of Barclays Premier League football. It was a delightful one. Arsenal smashed 5 past Burnley. Tottenham fell to defeat against Wolves. And then Chelsea took a point from Manchester City. I've got myself a 5 guys to celebrate. It is sensational. It's sensational. What an evening. And look, the title race is on. It's on like Donkey Kong. Chelsea, fair play to them. I thought that was a massive performance from them. I'll talk about that in a bit. The Arsenal game, obviously, I apologise if you tuned into the stream. I cut it short because I just could not find a good way of watching it. And it was just terrible. Eventually, I did find a way of watching it, which wasn't too bad, but it just wasn't good for the stream. But what a game. I tell you what, 5-0 off the back of 6-0, 21 goals scored in 5 games since we came back from Dubai, 11 goals without conceding in our last 2 games. And these used to be the games, Burnley maybe not so much, but these did used to be the games where we'd struggle. You know, even if we did go and get a win, it would be tough. Earlier this season, we were struggling. And we've just come back with this renewed energy. But I actually don't want too much of it to be put on that energy. We do have more energy now, but we're playing differently. We're more incisive. We're creating better chances. And we're more confident. That's a big thing. You know, Saka's second goal today, I don't think before Christmas he scores that. But he's just, everyone's playing in this state of kind of, they know exactly what they want to do when they get the ball, and they believe that it's going to work out when they do get it. Even Havertz's goal, that's probably the best example. Havertz, you know, taking it through the legs of the Burnley defender and slotting it away on his wrong foot. Like, it's working for everyone, and I think a huge amount of credit has to go to Mikel Arteta for that. You know, he's clearly gone to Dubai and sorted shit out. Like, that's the reality. He's gone to Dubai and he sorted it out, and it's very impressive. Across the board, I thought the performances were excellent. Kivior really impressed me again, and because Ben White is now the one that's inverting, and Kivior is allowed to just be more of a defender, which is what he's good at, you know, he looks far better. And the last 2.5 games has been a massive improvement from him. But I thought Ødegaard was the one today that just ran the show. That opening goal was such a clean strike. If you actually watch back the replay from like directly behind him, it's such a crisp strike. And outside of that, he's just dictating the play, pulling the strings. That's the Ødegaard that we need. That is the Ødegaard that we need. And it's another game, by the way, no injuries picked up. You know, Smith Rowe got some minutes. We're expecting some more players to potentially be back by Porto. We're in a good place right now. We're in a really good place. And obviously, the Chelsea City result this evening helps that even further. And this is the difference. You know, there was a time, there were people that believed that Tottenham had caught up with Arsenal. That Ange Postecoglou in 6 months had caught up with Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. And once again, today showed the difference, and it showed that, in fact, they're nowhere near us, and they lost to Wolves, and that's probably, you know, quite a big defeat for them. In fact, actually, let me bring up the table. So Arsenal, 2 points now behind Liverpool, but 2 points ahead of Man City. Of course, Man City do still have a game in hand, but that is good for the mentality. Villa now in 4th by themselves. Tottenham dropped down to 5th. But look at this. Look at this here, the goal difference. Arsenal leading the Premier League by way of goal difference, and now 5 goals clear of Manchester City. And that is huge. You know, there is no guarantee that it does not come down to goal difference by the end of the season. There's absolutely no guarantee that it doesn't. So it's huge for us to be picking up these goals, and it's massive for the confidence as well. It's massive for the confidence. Leo Trossard on the score sheet again today. When Jesus is back fit, and I want to hear your opinion in the comments, who starts? Let's say Jesus is fit to play against Porto on Wednesday. Or is it Tuesday? Whichever one it is. Who starts? Trossard or Jesus? Because for my money, since he came in, Trossard has absolutely earned his place in that team. But equally, I don't want to take away from the ability that Jesus has. And he's looked good in the Champions League so far this season. So I think that is a genuine decision for Mikel Arteta to make. And it might not hang on Trossard versus Jesus. It might actually hang on what he does in the midfield, Havertz or Jorginho. Away at Porto, I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see Jorginho come into the midfield, at which point I think you probably want Jesus instead of Trossard. But I think Trossard and Havertz have been working really, really well together. So that's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. But City tonight, and do you know what? They looked fallible. They looked fallible in that game. I think Chelsea got a lot of things right. I do think Chelsea got a lot of things right. They set up defensively. I thought Disasi was an absolute monster. But in general, their defensive structure and their defensive shape was really good. And they counter-attacked really well. I thought Jackson, actually, I know he had a shocking miss. But outside of that, I thought his general link-up play was really good. I thought Sterling was decent. And, they could have probably scored 3 in the first half. And obviously, Palmer is a cut above in terms of just talent. Like, he's a very, very good player. And I do just wonder if that's what we do at the Etihad. When we go to the Etihad, do we look at what Chelsea have done? Do we look at what, the teams that have taken points off City, other than Villa, who just steamrolled them at Villa Park? Do we do that again? And it was, similar to what we did at the Emirates. We played a different way at the Emirates to how we've played against pretty much anyone else. So do we go to the Etihad and do that? I think we should. The players that we've got better players than Chelsea to go on the break. And so if we can get into, if we can get into a position where going to the Etihad and getting a draw is acceptable, and you leave there and you take it, then we're in a really good position, and I think we can set up a bit defensively, not play a crazy high line, and just hit them on the counter attack. But I think today's a big result in general, not just for Arsenal, not just for Liverpool, but I think a lot of teams, a lot of people had been drawn into that feeling of, well, City will just win every game from now until the end of the season. That's what they do. They've won 11 in a row, 13 in a row. They'll just win every game till the end of the season. And I do think that's a bit of a morale boost for anyone that's going to play against City. Maybe they haven't clicked into it yet. Haaland didn't take his chances tonight. That was, important. Is Haaland going to be a robot for the rest of the season? I think that's a massive result for the league. And I'm excited. I am very excited. And of course, we can't forget, City still play Liverpool. Arsenal and Liverpool have played each other twice. City still play Liverpool and they still play us. And so it's probably a draw. A draw in that game, that sets things up very nicely. Sets things up very nicely indeed. So look, there is a lot of excitement to be had. I don't want to get carried away with it, but I haven't been this confident. And I'm not saying we're going to go on and win the league, but it's there. Like, you look at that table right now, it is there. The form that we're in, 21 goals scored, 2 goals conceded in our last 5 games. The form we're in, the position that we've put ourselves in, we've got over the injury crisis. We've got over the bad form. We've got through that period of not being able to score goals. We've set ourselves, it's, if you watch horse racing, sometimes you'll see that there'll be a horse. It's in second, but it's stalking the leader the whole way. And it's just, as you're getting towards the end of the race, it slowly just starts picking up. And it hits that rhythm. And that's what I think we are in and what we need to be in. So, look, the next thing is the Porto game. Got to go I think you've got to go and not lose that game. I don't want to take it for granted. Obviously, a win away at Porto would be ideal. Get out of there with a draw wouldn't be too bad. But that's the next focus. Then you've got Newcastle. And Newcastle next weekend, now is a good time to play Newcastle, I think. They've got loads of injuries. They got relatively lucky to draw against Bournemouth today. I think now is a good time to play Newcastle. And then we've got Sheffield United. So look, there is a good amount to capitalise on. I'm very excited. And I'll be live tomorrow for Man United against Luton. There's a link in the description to this video that will take you to a brand new platform. I am going to be the first person to ever stream on that platform. It's called TIFO. If you sign up for an account using that link, use the referral code Rory, all in caps, and you'll be able to watch the watch along tomorrow for Luton versus Man United, 4:30 UK time. I would appreciate it if you are a regular viewer of Rory Talks Football, if you could watch that stream. The platform themselves are really keen to get mine and your feedback on the platform. This platform basically, unlike YouTube or Twitch or anything else it was never designed for football watch-alongs. It's just people have made the most of it. This is a platform that's going to be designed for football watch-alongs and football communities. So very excited for that. Links in the description. But other than that, I'll be back on Monday evening for the regular 6:30 live stream. Can't wait for that. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new. Have a good evening. Come on, you Gunners.